Time for the epilogue, in which I hear the sweet song of liberty. March 4th, 1861. Dear Gemma, there's so much to catch you up on. I don't know that I can fit it all into one letter. First off, I saw the maple tree with my own eyes, and he is as hearty as ever. He misses you something awful, that's true too. I fear the danger you'd put yourself in, but you'd surely be a help if you were working with him in the fight for freedom. I gave him your message, and you know what he said? That child's got gumption. Kind of like grit and bravery. I'm writing to you today from the steps of the Capitol building. They are constructing here in Washington. It has been a few hours now since President Abraham Lincoln swore to preserve, protect, and defend the United States Constitution. Most folks think he was jabbing at the South and those 7 states that have broken away. Secession is the right word, I think, from the rest of the Union. But what I hear in his words is the sweet song of liberty. I think what he is saying is that he's wanting to protect the rights of every one of us, slave and non-slave alike, to the pursuit of happiness. All right. So this is obviously his inauguration now. That's when he is officially being sworn in on the steps of the Washington Capitol building. Being sworn in, he takes an oath of office to become the president. I've been pursuing my own happiness this past week. I cannot share secrets. You know how the pickled onion is about information slipping into the wrong hands. But I will tell you that I arrived in Washington safe and sound, along with a special traveler. This individual was lanky and a bit rumpled in appearance, intelligent, new to Washington, clever, over 6 feet tall, likes butterscotch, nice to the ladies. We know who it is. I have even more news for you too, as I seem to have landed myself a job. Thank heavens for drunkards and fighters, because their wicked ways have opened the doors to my dreams. I think you already know that I am pretty fast with a pen. Well, a correspondent for the Amboy Times broke his hand in a bar fight around here a few days back, so he asked me to do his writing for him. He's been spending more and more time back at the bar, so I guess he's pretty comfortable with our arrangement. I've already written a few newspaper reports about President Lincoln's perilous journey through the dastardly city of Baltimore, where bloodthirsty thugs wanted to pierce his pure heart with a gleaming stiletto. Stiletto is like a heel, okay, but just the idea of like pierce it, okay? And in a few hours, I'm going to telegraph my report on the spectacle of the inauguration. Did you know Mr. Lincoln has grown a beard along his chin for this occasion, but no mustache? The pickled onion says I'm a natural at telling stories. She says I could be editor of that newspaper by the time I'm 20. It is just like her to think a woman can take a man's job like that. But if the newspaper is full of drunks and bar brawlers like the one I've replaced, perhaps I can become an editor someday. I'd say I have a good set of ears for this kind of work. Spending time with the pickled onion sure has helped me in the arts of eavesdropping, spying, and general sneaking around. And I guess her drilling me in grammar and vocabulary has made me more... So first she was trying to write articulate, which means just more careful with her words. But as you can see, she wrote a few different things and crossed it out. So she tried to do articulate, then tried to do expressive, then tried to do eloquent, and she crossed all those out and just wrote good with words. President Lincoln has said before that a house divided cannot stand, meaning the division between the North and the South. And I believe in my heart he's going to change things in this country soon. Can you imagine a United States where slavery is stamped out? I've been thinking a lot about all the promise that lies ahead. I imagine a time when you will be able to move back from Canada and live free. And with all those things you're so good at, cooking and penmanship, your fast running and perfect aim, not to mention your own talent at listening and on what folks are gossiping about, we'll be able to piece your family back together. Even your Uncle Ezekiel and the others. Just imagine the life you can stake out for yourself. The pickled onion would sure love to know you. I have to find a new name for her since her face doesn't look nearly so sour these days, and the bitterness is gone. We're no longer a house divided. And I have you and the maple tree to thank for that. You both helped me understand what happened back in Chemung County. Finally, we can lay that anger and sadness to rest. I know lots of people are fearing the worst right now, as there is endless talk of a war between the states. But I cannot help but feel an ember of hope burning within me. Hope for you coming back from Canada. Hope for me and the pickled onion getting along. And hope that Mr. Lincoln will not let our union be ripped apart. I guess you could say I'm singing my own sweet song of liberty. If young folks like us can't sing it, then who can? Very truly your friend. Now. Ta-da! All right. It's funny how she only was writing letters to Gemma, but then Gemma did end up playing a really important role in this because Gemma was able to lead her to the maple tree and able to kind of really put an end to the issues between the resentment, the hatred that Kate had towards Nell because of her father and what had happened with her father and Matthew, her husband. I love this end. I love that she is becoming basically a reporter. She's a writer now. So she's writing articles for the newspaper, which we knew she would love and always try and read the newspaper. And yeah, I like that Aunt Kate is always like, well, then you can become the editor. Has no problem with a female. Based on actual true American history, a civil war does break out. The North does get in a war with the South. And also true to American history is that Abraham Lincoln is assassinated, and he is assassinated by John Wilkes Booth. Okay, we actually met John Wilkes Booth. He was one of the theater actors that we met when they were in the Barnum Hotel. So that was kind of an interesting tidbit too, that maybe if you had watched those Brain Pop videos, maybe they had helped you kind of like, wait, I think that's the name of the guy. So I'm not too sure on all the details about that. I'd be actually kind of curious to kind of keep reading and learn a little bit more about this next part of Abraham Lincoln's life, when the Civil War began and things like that. It's something I haven't studied since I was in college. All right, that's the epilogue. There's one more part left. I'm going to do it in another video right now, okay?